What if your shadow is not a defect? What if the anxiety you fight, the ambition you hide, the sensitivity you suppress, the overthinking you judge, the emotional withdrawal you explain away, and the pressure you feel inside your body are not random? What if they are coordinates? Today, I am taking you into an actual Sidereal Hologenetic Gene Keys case study, the map of John. And I want you to listen not just as someone studying astrology and not just as someone studying the gene keys. Listen as a seeker. Listen as a conscious man or woman who wants to know, where is my shadow actually located? What is it trying to become? And how do I work with it directly? Because this is where sidereal hologenetic mapping becomes powerful. I'm not asking only, what is your gene key? That is not enough. I am asking, which planet carries that gene key? Which house activates it? Which sign shapes it? Which nakshatra gives it instinct? Which line shows the behavioral style? Which shadow repeats through the map? Which gift is trying to mature? Which wound is secretly becoming vocation? This is why I call planetary placement the diagnostic engine. The planet tells us what part of your being carries the shadow. The house tells us where life will make you face it. The sign tells us how the energy behaves. The nakshatra tells us the deeper instinctive pattern. The gene key tells us the consciousness spectrum, shadow, gift, siddhi. This is not vague self-help. This is consciousness work with coordinates. And John's map is a strong example. John has Capricorn rising, with Mars and Capricorn in the first house. Immediately, the body map shows seriousness, discipline, pressure, endurance, ambition, physical drive, and the instinct to build. This is not a passive chart. This is not a person who is meant to drift. Capricorn rising wants structure. Mars in the first wants action. Mars in Capricorn wants achievement through discipline. But here is the twist. Both the ascendant and Mars carry gene key 19, moving from codependence to sensitivity to sacrifice. So from the outside, John may look strong, controlled, capable, serious, even tough. But the deeper code is sensitivity. That is the first major truth in this map. His strength is not separate from his sensitivity. His strength is what sensitivity becomes when it matures. Gene key 19 at shadow frequency can create codependence, over-attuning to others, absorbing emotional pressure, feeling responsible for other people's needs, or becoming reactive when emotional security feels threatened. But the gift is sensitivity, not weakness, not fragility. Sensitivity as intelligence, sensitivity as perception, sensitivity as the ability to know what is needed before others say it. And the siddhi is sacrifice, not victimhood, but sacred service. The kind of service that comes from maturity, not emotional dependency. With Mars carrying this key, John's sensitivity becomes action-based. He may protect, he may defend, he may act when someone is vulnerable. But the shadow is reacting too quickly because he feels needed. His work is to learn. Do not act from emotional pressure. Act from mature sensitivity. That is consciousness training. Now look at the sun. John's sun is in Sagittarius in the 12th house, in Purva Ashada Nakshatra, carrying gene key 54.5, moving from greed to aspiration to ascension. The sun is life force, identity, dharma, visible purpose. Sagittarius wants truth, meaning, higher knowledge, teaching, philosophy, wisdom, and expansion. But the 12th house is hidden. It is the house of retreat, dreams, sleep, isolation, foreign lands, spiritual surrender, loss, imagination, liberation, and the unconscious. So John's life work is not simple ambition. It is hidden ambition being spiritualized. Gene key 54 at shadow frequency is greed, but this does not only mean greed for money. It can mean greed for progress, status, superiority, recognition, success, spiritual elevation, or escape from ordinary limitation. At gift frequency, greed becomes aspiration. This is ambition purified. The person no longer wants to rise just to dominate. He wants to rise because something higher is calling him. At siddhi frequency, this becomes ascension. Now place this in the 12th house and the message becomes very precise. John is not here to chase success blindly. He is here to refine ambition through surrender, solitude, spiritual depth, and service. This is why planetary placement as the diagnostic engine is so direct. We are not saying John is ambitious. We are saying his sun carries gene key 54 in Sagittarius in the 12th house through Purva Ashada. Therefore, his ambition must become aspiration, and his aspiration must be purified through spiritual reflection, not ego pressure. That is the difference between a generic reading and a real map. Now, opposite the sun is Earth. John's Earth is in Gemini in the 6th house, carrying Gene Key 53.5, moving from immaturity to expansion to superabundance. The Earth is the grounding challenge. If the sun says rise, the Earth says grow properly. Gene Key 53 is about beginnings, development, process, and growth cycles. In the shadow, it becomes immaturity, starting too many things, wanting expansion without structure, getting excited but not completing, imagining growth without daily responsibility. And the 6th house is very practical. It is work, health, service, discipline, routine, conflict resolution, problem solving, skill building, and the daily grind. So John's map says vision without routine becomes fantasy. Routine with vision becomes expansion. His Sagittarius 12th house sun may dream big. It may seek meaning, inspiration, philosophy, and spiritual purpose. But the Earth in Gemini in the 6th house says build the habit, develop the skill, communicate clearly, serve daily, finish what you begin. This is one of the strongest growth lessons in the chart. If you are listening to this, ask yourself, where do I want transformation but avoid routine? Where do I want spiritual growth but resist daily practice? Where do I want expansion but keep starting over? Because the gene keys are not only mystical, they are practical. The gift must enter your schedule. Now the moon. John's moon is in Virgo in the 9th house, in Hasta Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 48.1, moving from inadequacy to resourcefulness to wisdom. The moon is the emotional body. It shows memory, instinct, needs, emotional safety, and how the psyche reacts. Virgo moon is analytical, observant, precise, service-oriented, improvement-driven. In the 9th house, the emotional body seeks meaning, wisdom, teachers, higher learning, philosophy, ethics, and dharma. Hasta Nakshatra adds skill, hands, detail, technique, healing, calculation, and craftsmanship. Now, Gene Key 48 brings the shadow of inadequacy. This can sound like, I am not ready. I do not know enough. I need more skill. I must perfect this before I act. What if I fail because I missed a detail? At shadow frequency, this becomes overthinking, self-criticism, nervous preparation, perfectionism, and emotional insecurity. But the gift is resourcefulness. That is the breakthrough. The fear of not being enough becomes the capacity to find solutions. The anxiety about depth becomes real depth. The worry about preparation becomes mastery. And the Siddhi is wisdom. So John's emotional body is not meant to be shamed for worrying. It is meant to be trained into resourcefulness. This is a vital teaching. Do not attack the shadow. Decode it. Inadequacy is not the final truth. It is the doorway into wisdom. Now Mercury. John's Mercury is in Sagittarius in the 12th house in Mula Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 38.2, moving from struggle to perseverance to honor. Mercury is speech, learning, intellect, communication, nervous processing, interpretation. Sagittarius Mercury wants truth. Mula Nakshatra digs to the root. It does not accept surface explanations. It wants the cause beneath the cause. But the 12th house makes Mercury private, internal, contemplative, and sometimes hidden. Gene Key 38 brings the warrior of meaning. At shadow frequency, it creates struggle. The mind may feel life as a battle. It may argue with ideas, resist shallow answers, fight invisible pressures, or feel misunderstood. But the gift is perseverance. This is not fighting for drama. This is the strength to stay with what matters. This is meaningful resistance. This is the courage to stand for truth. And the Siddhi is honor. So the communication lesson is direct. Not every disagreement is your dharma. Not every mental battle deserves your life force. But when the cause is real, your voice can become honorable. This is why this map is so useful for self-reflection. It does not say, stop struggling. It asks, is this struggle meaningful? Is this battle aligned? Is your mind defending truth or just reacting from pressure? Now Venus. John's Venus is in Sagittarius in the 12th house, also in Mula Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 10.2, moving from self-obsession to naturalness to being. Venus is love, beauty, attraction, values, pleasure, self-worth, and relationship taste. Sagittarius Venus wants truth, freedom, meaning, and spiritual openness. In the 12th house, love can become private, sacrificial, imaginative, foreign-linked, hidden, or karmic. Gene Key 10 is the key of authenticity. The shadow is self-obsession. But in the 12th house, this may not look loud. It can become private self-consciousness, hidden comparison, internal identity pressure, or the subtle need to feel special because the inner world feels different. The gift is naturalness. That is the medicine. John's relationship intelligence matures when he stops performing identity and becomes natural. When love is not a performance, when beauty is not used to prove worth, when uniqueness is not forced. The Siddhi is being. This is one of the cleanest messages in the map. Do not perform love, do not perform spirituality, do not perform identity, become natural. Now Jupiter. John's Jupiter is in Taurus in the 5th house, in Rohini Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 35.2, moving from hunger to adventure to boundlessness. Jupiter is wisdom, expansion, teaching, prosperity, ethics, grace, and mature contribution. Taurus brings beauty, value, food, voice, art, stability, wealth, music, nature, and sensual grounding. The 5th house brings creativity, intelligence, children, memory, romance, education, inspiration, and past life merit. Rohini adds fertility, charm, magnetism, growth, luxury, voice, and creative nourishment. Gene Key 35 brings the hunger for experience. At shadow frequency, this becomes restlessness. More pleasure, more stimulation, more beauty, more novelty, more creative excitement, more life. But the gift is adventure, not indulgence. Adventure, experience that teaches, pleasure that matures, creativity that opens wisdom. Life lived as a field of learning. The Siddhi is boundlessness. This is John's prosperity code. He prospers when experience becomes wisdom, not when hunger controls him. So the pearl lesson is, do not chase endless experience. Convert experience into contribution. Now Saturn. John's Saturn is in Libra in the 10th house, in Swati Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 1.3, moving from entropy to freshness to beauty. This is a major public karma signature. Saturn in Libra in the 10th house gives long-term responsibility, social maturity, fairness, ethics, public contribution, professional discipline, and the possibility of respect earned slowly. But Gene Key 1 is creative. It is the spark of originality. At shadow frequency, entropy means creative shutdown, stagnation, lack of freshness, feeling blocked, or losing motivation. At gift frequency, it becomes freshness. At Siddhi frequency, beauty. Now this is very important. Saturn, the planet of discipline, carries the creative spark. This means John may not access creativity by waiting for inspiration. He may access it through structure. Line 3 adds experimentation, trial and error, adaptation, mistakes, and mutation. So the career lesson is structure does not kill creativity. The right structure protects creative freshness. That is a mature Saturn message. Now Rahu. John's Rahu is in Libra in the 10th house in Vishaka Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 4.5, moving from compromise to competence to bounteousness. Rahu is hunger, obsession, future appetite, ambition, disruption, and amplification. In the 10th house, Rahu wants public role, career achievement, visibility, recognition, status, and worldly impact. Libra brings diplomacy, balance, aesthetics, negotiation, fairness, and social intelligence. Vishaka brings ambition, dual focus, public gathering, ritual intensity, and goal pursuit. Gene Key 14 is about resources, power, talent, and competence. At shadow frequency, compromise means misusing talent, settling for less, chasing approval, or allowing external systems to define your worth. At gift frequency, it becomes competence. This is one of the strongest career keys in the map. John is not meant to chase image. He is meant to build skill, not fake status, real competence, not borrowed authority, earned mastery, not performance, capacity. The Siddhi is bounteousness, resources flowing through mature talent. The Rahu lesson is sharp. Do not compromise true talent for approval. Build competence until life recognizes you. Now Ketu. John's Ketu is in Aries in the 4th house, in Kritika Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 8.5, moving from mediocrity to style to exquisiteness. Ketu shows past life memory, ancestral residue, detachment, inherited mastery. Aries brings independence, fire, survival, initiative, and courage. The 4th house brings home, mother, emotional roots, land, inner security, and ancestral foundation. Kritika adds sharpness, purification, fire, cutting, criticism, refinement. Gene Key 8 is the key of unique contribution. At shadow frequency, mediocrity means hiding uniqueness, copying others, dulling your style, or not trusting your authentic expression. At gift frequency, it becomes style, not just visual style, but a unique way of contributing. The Siddhi is exquisiteness. So Ketu says, John carries ancestral fire and originality, but it must be refined emotionally. He is not here to copy. He is here to recover a clean, precise, distinctive contribution. Now Uranus. John's Uranus is in Pisces in the 3rd house, in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, carrying Gene Key 21.1, moving from control to authority to valor. Uranus is higher mind, awakening, disruption, future intelligence, unusual insight, and mental electricity. Pisces makes it intuitive, symbolic, spiritual, imaginative. The third house brings communication, skills, courage, writing, media, siblings, self-effort, and experimentation. Gene Key 21 moves from control to authority. At shadow frequency, John may resist being controlled or may try to control his environment when the nervous system feels uncertain. At gift frequency, control becomes authority, self-command, skill mastery, inner governance, mature will. The Siddhi is valor. This gives a strong higher mind message. Freedom does not mean rejecting discipline. True freedom comes when the mind becomes internally governed. Now, when we bring the design profile into the reading, the unconscious architecture becomes even deeper. John's estimated radiance key is Gene Key 32.1, moving from failure to preservation to veneration. His vitality can be affected by fear of failure, fear that effort will collapse, fear that something will not last. But the gift is preservation, knowing what is worth protecting. His estimated purpose key is Gene Key 42.1, moving from expectation to detachment to celebration. His body purpose is to complete cycles, release outcomes, and learn celebration without clinging. His estimated attraction key is Gene Key 62.2, moving from intellect to precision to impeccability. He attracts people, teachers, and experiences that sharpen language, detail, and articulation. His estimated SQ, the heart wound, is Gene Key 40.6, moving from exhaustion to resolve to divine will. This shows a wound around overgiving, duty, pressure, loyalty, and not feeling supported. The healing is rest, boundaries, resolve, and dignified self-respect. His estimated core vocation key is Gene Key 9.1, moving from inertia to determination to invincibility. His vocation is not built through drama. It is built through focus, small steps, repetition, daily determination, concentrated effort. So when I synthesize John's full sidereal hologenetic map, this is what I see. He is not here to become loud. He is here to become deeply capable. He is not here to suppress sensitivity. He is here to mature sensitivity. He is not here to chase ambition blindly. He is here to purify ambition into aspiration. He is not here to escape into spirituality. He is here to ground vision through routine, skill, service, and discipline. He is not here to defeat inadequacy by pretending confidence. He is here to turn inadequacy into resourcefulness. He is not here to fight every battle. He is here to choose honorable struggle. He is not here to perform identity. He is here to become natural. He is not here to chase endless experience. He is here to turn experience into wisdom. This is what a Sidereal Hologenetic Gene Keys map can reveal. It does not reduce you to a label. It shows the architecture of your consciousness. The sun shows your Dharma shadow. The earth shows your growth challenge. The moon shows your emotional wound and emotional intelligence. Mercury shows your mind and communication karma. Venus shows love, value, beauty, and authenticity. Mars shows desire, anger, courage, and emotional maturity. Jupiter shows wisdom, prosperity, and contribution. Saturn shows discipline, fear, and long-term mastery. Rahu shows obsession and future appetite. Ketu shows ancestral memory and inherited mastery. Uranus shows higher mind mutation and future intelligence. This is why planetary placement as the diagnostic engine is superior and direct. You stop asking, what is wrong with me? You begin asking, which shadow am I living from? Which gift is trying to emerge? Which planet carries the pressure? Which house is activating the lesson? Which nakshatra gives it instinct? Which line shows my behavior? Where am I unconscious? Where am I gifted? Where is my suffering trying to become service? That is real self-reflective work. That is not entertainment astrology. That is consciousness mapping. And in John's case, the dominant movements are unmistakable. Codependence becomes sensitivity. Greed becomes aspiration. Immaturity becomes expansion. Inadequacy becomes resourcefulness. Struggle becomes perseverance. Self-obsession becomes naturalness. Hunger becomes adventure. Entropy becomes freshness. Compromise becomes competence. Mediocrity becomes style. Control becomes authority. This is the route from shadow to gift. And if you are listening as a seeker, as someone studying gene keys, as someone doing deep inner work, I want you to understand this clearly. Your shadow is not the end of your story. Your shadow is the doorway, but you need the right map. Because when you know exactly where the shadow lives, you stop fighting yourself blindly. You stop using generic advice for a specific wound. You stop asking life to become easy and you begin asking how to become conscious. That is where the transformation begins. If this case study opens something in you, if you felt your own patterns being named, if you are ready to study your gene keys through your actual planets, houses, signs, nakshatras, and deeper hologenetic architecture, get in touch with me for a deep Sidereal Hologenetic Gene Keys map reading. Not a generic reading, not a copy-paste profile, a map that works for you. A map that shows your shadows, gifts, emotional body, relationship intelligence, life work, prosperity path, vocation wound, and the deeper consciousness pattern behind your birth chart. Because once you know your map, you stop living as a reaction. You begin living as a conscious participant in your own evolution. And that is the real purpose of this work.